What's up, people? Today we're going to make smoked panceta in golden berry and mango sauce. Over here I have the panceta. Over here I have 2 strips of panceta approximately, which is weighing almost 2.5 kilos, both panceta. All the panceta is already totally clean. There is a part that has the small ribs, and as you can see, it is relatively thin. It is not too thick. This part is also where the bacon comes out. What we have to do is very easy. We are going to make some small incisions in the part of the skin so that the flavor can penetrate enough. This we are going to leave it, marinating it in beer. We are going to do this on both sides so that the flavor can enter very well. I'm going to leave this on one side for the moment, and on this side I'm going to start preparing the marinade. Of course we are going to put it in the container. I'm using 1.5 liters of beer to give it flavor as well. We are going to put, of course, an onion. This we chop it a few relatively large cuts, a Meyer pour cut. And this goes right where we're going to do the marinade. We are also going to put 5 cloves of garlic. We're just going to crush this right here. Over here I have about 4 sprigs of fresh rosemary. We're also going to add this here to the macerate, of course. What we have to do with this here is we are going to crush it a little bit so that it releases all its flavor, its aroma. And over here I also have a little bit of fresh thyme, this in the same way. We are going to season this. Here I'm going to put half a spoonful of ground pepper. Likewise, half a teaspoon of cumin powder. And of course we're going to salt it as well. I'm going to start with 3 tablespoons. This, as I'm mixing it, I'm going to taste it. It's always important to taste the flavor. This marinade has to be a little over salted so that it can also penetrate enough into the meat. Now yes, here we put our pork belly. It is important that the pork belly covers very well. This is so that the flavor can reach the entire part of the bacon evenly. Yes, it is important to let it marinate for at least 3 hours, and of course if we leave it overnight it will take on a lot of flavor. We are going to cover it very well and we are going to leave it refrigerated. This pork belly stuff, I let it sit for at least 3 hours. Now we are going to grill it. Previously, approximately 10 or 15 minutes, it is important whether to light the grill or the charcoal. In this case, I'm going to add a small olive wood to this. This is how to be able to smoke this meat. Now we move on to curing. This grill thing, I like to cure it with onion. Here we now add the meat. This meat thing, I'm going to put first from the skin down. The smoking time that I'm going to give to this thickness of pork belly, it's going to be approximately 3 hours. What I'm going to do is once 1.5 hours has passed, I'm going to turn it over to the other side. I'm going to leave the bottom part of the ventilation grill a little open so that a little bit can enter, and the top part I am going to leave it a little more open, so that all the smoke inside can also escape. And I will maintain a temperature more or less between 180 to 220 degrees. This part of the macerate is not that we are going to throw it away with this. It is the one that we are going to hydrate every so often to the pork belly. For this sauce I am going to use a mango unit and also passion fruit, of course. I'm going to start with the passion fruit. What we have to do is we are going to first remove the pulp part. This we are going to put it directly in the container where we are going to process it or we are going to blend it. This type of sauce, it is a little sweet. In fact, pork goes very well with any type of sweet sauce. I am only going to blend it for 10 to 15 seconds. It is not advisable to blend it too much because the seeds are usually a little bitter. Of course, we are going to strain this here to remove all the seeds. And we are, of course, going to do the same with the mango. We are going to remove this from the shell part, and then we are going to remove the pulp part. This in the same way we are going to take it to process it. And on this side, in a small saucepan, we are going to start making the sauce. Right here we add the passion fruit pulp. We also add the mango, of course. Here we add more or less a quarter of a cup of vinegar. I am using white vinegar. Half a cup of white wine. Quarter tablespoon of onion powder, the same amount of garlic powder. Quarter tablespoon of paprika, or also known as paprika powder. 2 tablespoons of mustard. This type of mustard is homemade. You can use the classic one. Of course, a touch of pepper is missing. I'm also going to add a little bit of hot sauce, Tabasco sauce, about a tablespoon and a half. And we are going to cook this sauce between 15 to 18 minutes over medium heat. We are always going to be stirring this. Generally, it will reduce a little. It will take on a slightly thicker consistency. This sauce I will cooking for approximately 18 minutes. I am going to leave it with this texture. At this point I did not add any flour or cornstarch. I am going to leave it with this texture. Just as it has sugar when it cools down, it will get a little thicker. To accompany this pork belly, I am going to serve it with mashed fine herbs. You do not necessarily have to serve it with this. Of course, you can serve it with any other type of garnish. To make the puree, of course, is nothing out of this world. Here in this saucepan, we add more or less a tablespoon of butter or margarine. So we put the potato right here. You can put this through a potato masher. Or the other option is to use this tool as well, to be able to mash very well. This is going to be a slightly rustic mash. Here we are going to add, of course, boxed milk. We are going to be adding this little by little. Here we are going to season a little bit of pepper. We are going to cook this for 5 or 6 minutes over very low heat. We are always stirring. As the puree is usually a little thick, it's likely that the base part will burn very quickly. The type of herb I am going to use for the puree is going to be some parsley leaves. We are also going to add a little bit of thyme. If you don't get this here, you can even replace it with normal Chinese onion. And we are going to add our chopped grass. This we are going to cook it for about 5 or 6 minutes, and I'm going to leave it of this texture. You can make it a little bit looser or a little bit thicker. This is up to each one's taste. I had the pancetta with the bacon in the kamado for about 2.5 hours, and this is how it looks. I'm going to cover it with aluminum foil. And of course we are going to varnish it with the passion fruit and mango sauce. It is important, yes, we are going to varnish this all over the bacon so that the flavor, of course, is totally uniform and we have it well varnished. Now that we have it well varnished, what we have to do is to wrap it very well in aluminum foil. And this again, I'm going to put it in the kamado and I'm going to keep it for another 30 or 40 minutes or so. Now we move on to cut our pancetta. Now on this side we are going to plate it, of course. I am going to accompany this with... Now on this side we are going to plate it, of course. I'm going to accompany this with rice. To this we are also going to add a little bit of fine herb puree. Here we are going to put our pancetta and passion fruit and mango sauce. On this side I had reserved a little bit of sauce, this of course. We are also going to put our pork belly to make it juicier. Well people, let's start tasting our pancetta. I'll take advantage of it. The flavor is spectacular. It has that peculiar smokiness since we had it in the kamado for almost 2.5 hours. And the other advantage also, of course, of the panceta is that it is a meat that has a lot of fat that makes the meat totally well but very juicy. As we marinated it for 3 hours with salt and some vegetables, it has that salty flavor, and of course it also has that peculiar flavor of passion fruit and mango. The combination is spectacular. The idea with this is also to accompany it, of course, with a little bit of mashed fine herbs. Also, of course, our rice with red wine. As always, friends, thank you for watching our video. I hope you liked the recipe and you know that anything you want to add, let me know down below in the comments. Take care and see you in a few days with a new video. Bye.